took my mom to the club.
Yeah. I mean, we used to club.
We used to club together.
Yeah.
And it's what I liked about it is because you were like, I want to see what you guys are doing. Let me see what you guys are doing. And you could see like we're good. We're taking care of ourselves, you know. We're not drinking cheap liquor, you know, even though I don't drink anymore, thank God. But yeah, there's no cheap liquor. We're not over drinking. But yeah, how was that for you? Dear Mama, we are back. You know, we said we have to start like that, just to introduce the show. But we are back for episode 2. Yes. Can you imagine?
Time flies.
I know. But first and foremost, I think we want to say thank you to everyone who has watched. For me, I was so shocked when I saw that it was, right now I think it's on 20,000 views.
20,000 plus.
Plus. And I was watching it and it felt like a dream. I was like, wow, people are really listening to us. And we didn't even go that deep. We just touched the surface.
Yes.
So I was like, this is amazing. What did you think about the reaction?
No, I'm glad that, I think for me, there are a lot of girls that you are representing. That's what I could tell from the comments. They have the same views that you have.
Yeah.
So I think as we go on, we will cover all age brackets.
Yeah. I think it's girls between maybe like 18 to 30 or 32. And a lot of them were like, Gilda, you are right.
Yes.
So I told you, I'm not crazy. You know, you shouldn't be worried. But many of us who are still finding our way. But I thought it was really nice to have them, you know, just share with us. Especially there was a girl who told me, you know, I don't have my mother. So watching you and your mom, it's like giving her, you know, like a snippet into a life or a conversation that she would be having with her mom. Nice. And that touched my heart. I was like, this is so beautiful.
Welcome to Dear Mama.
Episode 2. So today I decided I think we should talk about seeing you as an authority figure in my life and seeing you as a friend. You know, because for us, that is how our relationship is. It's either or. Either you're my friend.
You don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice, you know. Either you're my friend or you've stepped into that mother role where you're like, listen, it's time for me to either discipline you or tell you as it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to think back to when do you think you decided to change that relationship from authority to a friend, and why did you do that? Because there's so many parents who don't want to be friends with their children.
I think in the beginning, when you have a child and she's young, it's that part of nurturing where you just want to show them the good and the bad. I mean, like you know there are things when you're growing up that you're not supposed to do. Maybe like I can't say from what age, but I mean when a child is growing, you're obviously showing them the path.
Yeah.
Showing them the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But then as they grow and when they start realizing who they are in life, and I'm talking about maybe from when you're 7, I think, you also start seeing your body change. And I think with every stage as you're growing for a girl, there are things that are different.
Yeah.
For me, I think, when did I start having the authoritative? Before you were a teenager.
When you started to be like a friend? Or would you mean...
No, I've always been a friend. I mean, I'm your friend throughout.
Okay, yeah.
But now, when you start looking at your girl and seeing she's no longer a child, then you step into another form.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So you're saying the authority doesn't come first, the friendship comes first.
Yes.
Oh, you see, in my head I was thinking the authority is there and then the friendship comes later.
It's there, yes, because a mother is always a mother.
Yeah.
Even when you're a day old.
Yeah.
But that authority is not really felt.
Yeah, until they start to
Then-
get older.
Yes, because, okay, if you do something when you're 2 years old, I will
Yeah.
smack you.
Yeah,
That is still authority, but
Yeah.
applied in a different setup.
yeah.
So I think authority grows with time. I mean, you keep upping the.
Oh, so it's gonna get more and more.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
I think once you're a parent like for what, for life,
Forever,
right?
forever.
So
forever.
I mean, I really understand that, but I think for me, what I really loved about you is when I was probably like 6 or 7, you came to me and you told me, Gilda, you can tell me anything. I don't know if you ever remember saying that.
No, I don't.
You told me you can tell me anything, and I was like, wow, really? Like I can open up to you about anything, and you're like, you can tell me anything.
Yes, and I think now that you say that, it came from a point of where, you see, when you're a working mother and you leave your child home with probably a help, and with the stories that we hear of your child being abused and then threatened not to say anything,
Yeah,
it's important, you know,
Yeah.
to let your child know that they can be able to come to you with anything
yeah, yeah,
that happens to them.
yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen a lot of those stories where a child is abused, and then later in their age, when they are adults, they come back and say, I was abused as
I
a
was
child.
abused,
You
yeah.
know, and you wish, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
And maybe because they were threatened, or they didn't look at their mother in a way that they would be able to open up, because sometimes maybe a mother would be like, what did you do?
Exactly.
Or you know, so
Yeah.
so I think it was important for me to if you can remember that,
Yeah.
it was coming from a point where I wanted you to be free with me, to be able to tell me anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything,
And
anything.
I have told you, I think once you told me that, I was like, wow, okay, I can tell you anything. And to be honest with you, I thank you so much for that, because, you know, people start looking for other people to be able to give them something that like your parents should give you. You see, the fact that you told me I can come to you for anything, it means that I wasn't out there looking for someone to tell things to, you know, maybe like a friend who can disappoint me, you know, or, you know, other authority figures, or an auntie, I was going to go and say this, you know.
Yeah, and also I'm also coming from a place where, you see, when me growing up, my mother didn't tell me that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so and with times changing, and like I say every time, and I said this in our first show, times have changed, things have changed. As a mother or as a parent, you feel like you need to protect your child even when they're adults. So I don't know how us guys grew up, because me, I don't remember my mother telling what.
So who did you used to tell things to? Like, if something has happened to you, like maybe you were in school and someone like bullied you or something, who did you go home and tell that to?
The authorities, maybe the teachers in school,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe if I come home and, I mean, some of us had mothers like, if somebody has slapped you, slap them back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
So I don't think we had time to, like for me, to go crying to my mother at, oh, Sijui, somebody has beaten me. What did you do? Or why didn't you beat, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah. She wanted you to handle
yes,
it. Yeah.
yes, handle it.
Yeah.
So we grew up, some of us grew up very young. I
yeah.
mean, so we did not let those kind of things get to us.
Yeah.
But with times changing, a lot of things happen, even with your own friends, you know. And when I look at it, like when you guys were growing up, you had all these friends. You guys had sleepovers. You know, we that's how some of us brought up our
Yeah,
kids,
we
because
always had
now we
sleepovers.
got into a generation of where children have sleepovers
Yeah.
in their friends' places. So
Yeah.
I think for me, it was coming from a point where I need you to feel safe,
Yeah.
that you can be able to tell me
Yeah.
anything.
But I think also what you don't realize, you are doing that for my safety as a physically, but you also did that for me emotionally. You know, I felt like oh, okay, you have my back, you know. And even though I did get in trouble, and you'd be like, okay, what did you do? You would still have my back and be like, okay, let's go to the teacher.
Yes.
You know, I felt safe in my emotions in the sense that even though you would tell me you know you did wrong, but you still also listened and was like, okay, let me go to school and also find out.
Yeah.
You know, so I really felt secure, you know. I mean, I think that's how I was like, okay, my mom is my best friend, you know. That's what I always used to tell my friends. But I think also I remember that I realized that you were also a cool mom, you know, growing up. And I can remember this story specifically. It was like swimming gala. We used to have like a swimming gala, right? And then so the parents would come and watch. So my mom has been there for all of them, but this one was specific because she came in and she had a tattoo done, right? And so it was wrapped in that whatever, and you're wearing like a short sleeved shirt, you know, and then you walk in and it's like you have a fresh new tattoo, and everyone is like, who is this? You know, so just knowing that you were like the cool mom also made me feel open, you know, to be able to talk to you about anything. And it was like, okay, I remember even like during parents' evenings and stuff, like all the boys, they used to be like, we're waiting for Gilda's mom. Gilda's mom is coming. I'm like, oh God. You know, so it's like, yes, I always had that friendship thing, but I was so scared of you. Like, let me give you an example. I remember me and my brother, we had climbed a tree. And then this house sub told us, you need to come down. We're telling her, no, we're not going to come down. Whoa, we had you coming. The next minute, we literally just jumped from the top of that tree. We jumped down and we still got beaten for being on the tree. So I was like, you are still so scary. Like, you're the scariest person. But for many reasons, like, I don't want to disappoint you. But also, back then, yeah, I definitely felt the authority. You know, like, you were cool, but to a certain degree.
And I think I got it from my mother, because my mother, I think, was like that. And I learned, now when I look back, I learned a lot of things just by watching her. Because you see, I come from a family where we were only two. So it was, yani, if one of you did something, you cannot sell out the other. So you'd rather be beaten, both of you.
Yeah.
Rather than saying,
why didn't you sell him out?
No. I mean, he was my only sibling.
Yeah.
So there was no way
Yeah.
out. Unless now you were caught doing something.
Yeah.
Then it would be another story. But my mother was also very strict, to the point, I mean, as we were beaten, you guys
Not so much.
not so much.
Yeah.
But I learned from her that you have to beat up a child sometimes. I mean, kiboko has to work.
Yeah.
And you're not beating up this child because you hate them, or you're just trying to show them the way.
Yeah.
And I think it helped me in a way to also be able to learn, because I keep saying, even when you're growing up, even when I bring you up as my children, why would you be doing things that I have never taught you?
Yeah.
Where are you learning these things from? You know?
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that I applied in my bringing you up, I saw them from my mother. Because she was a disciplinarian.
Yeah, hardcore, yeah.
Hardcore,
Yeah.
you know? And I think I am like that. I am the kind of
Yeah.
person who just wants some kind of order.
Yeah. There's a
In
place
life.
for everything.
Yes.
There's a time for everything.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
But also, what I want to ask is, you said your mom was heavy with the beatings. But you weren't heavy. Like, I can count how many times you've hit me. Maybe like 4 times.
It depends. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. What applied to you did not apply probably to your brothers.
Yeah.
You know, because you were not really a troublemaker, but boys will be boys. So
Yeah.
them, they got their kiboko.
Yeah.
But I think authority, even before my own mother passed away,
Yeah.
even at my age,
Yeah.
she still had authority. Even if you're married, you know,
Yeah.
that authority never.
Were you scared of her?
Of course. I would
Yeah.
never want to do anything wrong
Yeah.
And my mother knows.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something that will live with you or with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think like after she passed, did it allow you to like venture into things maybe you hadn't done? Like for example, let me ask for real. Let's say if she was alive and you told her, I've met this younger man and I think I'm in love with him, would you be scared to tell her?
No.
Yeah.
Because I think my mother and I had that kind of a relationship where I would tell her anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even when I was going through stuff, my mother was the first person to
Do
know.
you call? Yeah.
Even if I didn't tell her when it was happening,
Yeah.
but I felt safe telling her because she never judged me.
Yeah.
You know, she would always be there to support me, but she would not drive me to make a decision based on her
feelings or
she would allow me.
Yeah.
And I guess probably
Yeah.
this is something I inherited from
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, because I think with you, you've always been very good in giving like advice, especially, okay, it was do as I say until I turned 18. You know, this is the way, this is what I'm doing, but it wasn't even hard because let me give an example. When we used to sneak when we were like 16, we used to sneak out and go to the club, you know, and just have fun and then go home. So we'd sneak out from someone's house. So this one day, we're at this girl's house here in Lavington. And we decided, okay, we're going to sneak out, go to our usual, it was called the Loft, there in Westlands, and then we'll come home later. So when we decided to sneak out of her house, we were like 5 of us. And then we decided to put the girl in the boot. So that's when we drive out of, because she was in an estate, they won't see her, so they'll be like, it's just other girls. But obviously, you're seeing young girls going out, you're going to tell. So we got in trouble. They called us, you guys need to come home, you know. And then it became this whole big thing because now police were involved. Scary, scary. Then when I went to school, because I was like, phew, thank God. I knew my mom knew, but it was okay. But when I went to school, then now they're like, okay, we're going to have to suspend you guys because you went out and underage, you know. What are you doing? And I remember you came to me and you said, I'm not against this whole thing of going out. As long as you're responsible and you don't do it behind my back. You were cool with it. So my friends were like, wow, we can just go to Gilda's house even, and I know that's like we can, and it's not like it was happening every time. It was maybe once in a year, or once in like, you know, every 6 months. You can be like, okay, how are you getting there? Here's a cab. This is the time you're gonna come home. You know, instead of us going behind your back. So what allowed you to be able to do that?
Now that you've said that, it reminds me of when I think when we got to about 18.
Yeah.
My brother and I, because obviously we had friends who we grew up who are older.
Yeah.
And because I was brought up by a mother who was very strict in Sunday you have to go to church.
Yeah.
Then you meet up with friends and they're telling you how they've gone out and you're like, how come, I mean, what is wrong with us?
Yeah.
So I remember that happened with my brother. We sneaked out of home one night, and coming back, we found the door locked from outside.
And you left it open?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a houseboy who used to who now used to sneak us out.
Yeah.
But the first day we did that, thinking that my parents are asleep and we'll be back before anybody knows. I think they must, either my dad had or my mother, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And when we came back, we found the door locked. So we had to wait. You know, you can't knock now.
Yeah.
We had to wait until morning. My mom woke up, she found us outside. And my dad called us and he said, you know, I am not saying that you shouldn't, but just say.
Yeah,
Ask.
yeah.
Because what happens if you do this and then something happens to you?
Yeah.
You know, so that is what the same kind of
Yeah.
thing that I applied.
Yeah.
I am not, you're at an age where
People are going
people are
out.
going out.
Yeah.
I will not restrain you from going out, because the next thing you will do, and I mean, with you guys in this generation, all sorts of things happen. You're riding in people's cars,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I felt it was right for me to say, I mean, you guys, I understand, you're at that age where you want to go out and venture and have fun with your friends, but this is how you do it.
Yeah.
At least let me know. Keep your phones on. Don't allow drinks from anybody. Don't jump into people's cars.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, these people, they're probably drunk or whatever it is. But, you know, so I gave you options, and I guided you on
Yeah.
how to do things.
And there were rules, like.
And there were rules, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes those rules were broken, and
Yeah.
you guys slept outside.
Yes. There's many a times.
Very many times.
Yeah.
So I believe as parents, it's just how you manage, especially when you have teenagers. The peer pressure, and people, you guys suffer from something called FOMO.
FOMO, yeah. Yeah.
So it's important. It's important that you have that rapport with your children.
Yeah.
So that they are able to tell you stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that worked for us.
It really worked, because also what I realized is, like with my friends whose parents were strict, like when they ended up going to like university, now they hadn't been out before. So they just ended up going so hard, and, you know, going completely crazy, maybe just doing things a little bit more dangerously. But you see, for us for me, I had already been in clubs, you know, I already know, like nothing is exciting me anymore, you know. So even it slowed down, like it was okay, you know. Although in South Africa, that's a whole different thing, because that's a whole different country. But you see, it made me more mature. It's like, this is what you've been fighting, you want to do. Go and do it and see. And then you come back and you'll realize, okay, that was cool.
And I remember one thing I used to tell you is like, you know, if you want to have fun, you will have fun even when you are 90 years old.
Yeah.
You know, this fun will never end. It's just how you do it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's just how you do it.
Yeah.
Because if there's too much of it, I mean, like anything, too much of everything is poisonous,
Yeah.
then there are consequences.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that parents, I'm not saying that you have a mutual understanding. It's a mutual understanding, yes. You will still apply your authority as a parent. And this does not mean that now we are competing, you go out, I can go out. You know, I mean, there are rules. There's still that authority
Yeah.
that has to be kept, and respect.
Yeah.
You're not going to abuse.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you were very quick to call if you're going a little bit harder than you should, or you're going a bit more sideways, and it's because there's boundaries, right?
Of course.
So if you start to see that I've gone a little bit farther from what it is that I should be, you are quick to just be like, watch kind of where you're going, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, I mean, if we had agreed on a certain time that you need to be back home,
Yeah.
call me, tell me, Mom, we'll be late. But don't show up at 9 o'clock the next day.
Yeah, I know.
And expect everything to be cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you will sleep outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that one you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what I really liked as I've gotten older is you kind of really know when to put on what hat. Because let's say, for example, like with me, when I was going through my mental health struggles, right? That was when you decided, like, I might not understand what you're going through, you know, which is something that you even went to all the doctors that I was with, and you're like, explain to me what this is, you know, what's happening. And maybe because you've never had, I don't know, have you ever had any struggles with like mental health?
No, not me.
I don't know. I don't think you have.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But then you were very like, okay, what can I do? What is the best for her to do? You know, what medications is she gonna be on? What you know, what can I do to help? And for me, I found that like it made things so much easier for me, since I was already going through it. But you know, some people would find it hard to go to their parents and be like, I'm struggling like this, you know.
You see, the thing is, even before I knew what was happening with you, I was confused. Because I'm saying I grew up from a generation where such things didn't happen. I mean, you're telling me you have issues. What is that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, my mother would tell me, snap out of it, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it took a while, yes, because I honestly didn't understand what is the problem.
Yeah.
Why are you, what is happening with you?
Yeah.
Why are you in this kind of situation?
Yeah.
So for me, it also took quite a long time to be able to understand what was going on with you. And that is when then I decided, let me just, first of all, read about it, talk to people who are in the right field so that they can help me understand. Because, you know, sometimes as parents, and I'm just talking on behalf of many people who probably don't understand this. You don't know what somebody else is going through
Yeah. Yeah.
in their lives because you've never gone through it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So even for me, when I'm being told that your daughter is going through a depressive episode,
Or yeah.
me, I have gone through so much myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're wondering,
And
how
I'm
did you
not
manage?
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody who thinks somebody has a mental issue, they will always think this person is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how we looked at it from before. And then looking at myself, and I'm thinking, if I sat down with you
and told you
what I have been through, then where would you place me? Why am I not going through a depressive state? Or do I have a form of mechanism that I can deal with it that you can't deal with?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you see, our emotions are different as human beings. And when I understood where you were coming from, then I had to help you go through it. You know, just walk with you in that journey.
Yeah.
Because this is not something you can do on your own. You know. And honestly, I am glad that I found the right kind of people, because I know I judged you in so many ways. Not knowing that it's something you couldn't help yourself.
Yeah,
Even you yourself, you don't understand yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you don't understand yourself, how are you even helping yourself? You know. So I stepped back, and by authority, I mean, I'm not saying that I put down my guard, because there are also things that I needed to do with you to help you.
Yeah.
You know, and that is where now you even become more of a friend than an authority.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because I think for me, like you said, I didn't know what was happening. And it's really like something has shut down inside of you, and then you're just trying to fight to get it back in any way that you can, which obviously you're not mentally stable, so you're not doing the right thing, you know. So I just remember when I said I need this help, and you were like, who can we go and see, you know? And you are like, okay, let's get the best of the best. And for me, I was like, you know, I'm so thankful that that's even how you were thinking, you know. And you also just wanted to make sure, okay, so what is this medication for? What is she going to be on for this? What? And it's been a very long journey.
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey.
Been a long journey.
It's been a very long journey. But I know for a fact I would not have been able to do it if I didn't have you, you know. And it's for sure I wouldn't be able to do it, because I didn't understand what was going on, and I needed that authority first, then a friend second, because you had to take over for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You took over for me, and you were like, okay, let me just, even though I might not understand, which is something that I really congratulate you on, is you don't know what is going on, but you said, let me just try.
Yeah, because you know, when you're a mother especially, you just want the best for your child.
Yeah.
You know? And if you had the powers to live their life, I mean, like, give me your life, let me live it for you, and then
Yeah.
I give it back to you
When everything is good.
everything is good, it would have been possible. But this is life.
Yeah.
You know, each one of us has their own struggles in life, and probably what I struggled with, me growing up, is not even anything that you will ever have to struggle with, and vice versa, you know. So as a mother, you just want to protect your child. You just want to be able to see that whatever it is that they're going through, I'm speaking for myself because I have been in those shoes, is how do I get you out of it? You know, because some of these things are not instant things that I can say today, tomorrow, I'm giving it a week.
Yeah.
That you'll be done with this. When you take this medication, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's a process. So you really have to be willing to step in, support. It's not easy because today you're like this, tomorrow you're like this. So even me as a person, I'm not able to understand. I thought we were going, what happened? I mean,
Yeah.
why do we
Yeah.
have a setback now?
Yeah.
So I think just patience.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of mothers, especially with young girls and even boys, to say they're not really able to support or to know how to deal with it. But what I can say, this all starts from what you said. Having your mother as a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
allowing your child to be able to tell you anything, and also watching them. Things change. I mean, you know, like your generation today, you never know what is happening.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
never. And even like when you have the opportunity, like now, who went to study out of the country,
Yeah.
things are happening there.
Yeah.
You don't know. So when a child comes back on holiday, you don't even know what's been going on with them. So I think it's important, like you said, to just allow your child to be your friend.
Yeah. Because we were talking about this earlier with our fabulous makeup artist Collins, and I was telling him about how I decided I wanted to go to South Africa. So I was in Hillcrest, and I was in year 13, right? And you know, at the end of year 13, then you do your A levels, right? And then from there, they want you to usually go to the UK, so they'll be pushing for those universities. But I never really felt that, and I never really felt comfortable there, because I remember I was studying drama, and then my drama teacher came to me and she's like, well, Gilda, you know, when you do this, it's like for drama, how you have to put on like a show. You have to do it in like a Cockney accent. I'm like, and a what? I'm like, she's like, in a Cockney accent. I'm like, what is that? I said, for sure, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. This has been 2 years of wasted money. And with me, I'm always like a plan B person. I said, there's no point in me letting you and dad pay. I don't know how much it was. Hillcrest was crazy expensive. Let me look for university and just go do like, you know, a foundation year. So I quickly went online and I checked out South Africa, and then I found Monash, South Africa, and I gave them my results for year 12, and they were like, sure, you can come. And I remember the easy person was my dad. You can go and tell him, that this is what, and he's like, oh, South Africa, you know him, those are things that make him feel proud, you know, and he could never say no to me. That one was easy. Now I said, how will I tell my mother? I sat down, I thought. Will she let me go? I'm only 18. I think I just turned 18. I said, what am I going to do? So I remember you were in the balcony. I just locked us in there. I said, Mom, I need to tell you something, and we cannot leave until you say yes. And then you can tell me how that went.
You see, I would also, now when I look back,
Yeah.
the same thing happened to me, only that I did not lock my dad. I did not lock my dad outside in the balcony.
No, I locked us both. Yeah.
To allow me to go to college the way I wanted, because when I finished school, I think for me, I just wanted to how will I get by college very fast so that I start earning my money? You know, I am
Yeah.
not interested in going to Form 5 and 6 that everybody else was doing. Me,
Yeah.
I needed to fast way out.
Yeah.
So I remember just before I sat for my O levels, I applied. I had never done typing. It's not that I was interested, but I just wanted to go to a college that
Yeah.
is reputable,
Yeah.
that I know if I finish, I am going to be able to get a job instant.
And how did you know this?
I had a friend who was a year younger than, no, we were in the same class.
Yeah.
And she had mentioned about Kianda. And I used to hear about Kianda from, you know, from people, how prestigious it was, how it was the best college, you know.
Yeah.
And you see, those days, government jobs were the best. So if you came out of Kianda, definitely you will end up, you know, in
Yeah.
a good parastatal or good government job. So I remember applying to Kianda, even without telling my parents. And even when I finished fourth form, I kept quiet. And just before the results were out in December, I got my admission letter and I went to tell my father. And my father is like, hell no, you're going to Form 5 and 6. I am not paying Kianda. I said, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
You do whatever. I will not go to Form 5 and 6. You wait for me. I will finish Kianda and then I will go to university.
Yeah.
So that's how we came to a compromise. So that's how I didn't manage to go. Coming back to you. You are 18 years old.
Yeah.
You've always been at home. You know, me, I only moved from Nakuru to Nairobi.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So, and in Nairobi, I had relatives. If they want to check on me, and where I was living in a hostel, I was not allowed to leave. So I was living in a Catholic hostel where we were not allowed to leave. If you have exits, you're going home. You know.
Okay, yeah.
So my parents were comfortable.
Yeah.
Now here is an 18-year-old who wants to go out of the country. This is somebody who has never even.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my biggest. I'm like, how is this girl going to manage out of my hands? This is a new environment,
Yeah.
new people.
Yeah.
But
We
I
went.
decided,
Yeah.
let me give you a chance. I mean, what
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah. When I look back at it, that is so crazy. I would never, like, I'm thinking about it. Why did I even allow you? I mean, why was I asking to leave the country at 18? And I was so adamant.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, you had made up your mind.
I had made up my mind,
So
but, yeah.
me as the mother who's hands-on, I'm like, I am taking you.
Yeah.
And here, and I think, I don't know what, okay, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It's God, maybe. I don't
Because
know.
I remember when I took you to university and we go and we shop and I take you to your room. I'm even showing you how to do the bed. Gilda, every morning, this is how you should wake up, do your bed.
Yeah.
I even set an alarm for you.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to, you know, I think South Africa is 1 hour.
Yeah, it's 1 hour.
But I set the alarm and I used to call you, please Gilda, wake up
Yeah,
now
yeah.
so that you get to school on time.
Yeah.
So you see, I mean, I'm your friend, but I still have authority. You know, the authority is applied across the board.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even if you're not going to school, sometimes I'm sure you would skip class, but you are afraid of telling me that you have skipped class.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why did, it would have been a whole other thing. But I still was scared of you all the way in South Africa. I was still afraid of you, like, okay, make sure, because I know we'd talk every single day. What am I doing? What's the plan? This and this and this and that. And right now, and the thing is, when I think about it, the way South Africa is so dangerous for women, so dangerous for girls. I think it's God, but it's still one of the best things I did.
I mean, I know I prayed, I really used to pray for you. And I remember
Yeah.
when the day I left, I prayed.
You cried.
And I remember, when I got back to the airport and I sat in the lounge, I cried.
Oh.
And this man came up to me and asked me, what is the problem? So when I told him,
Yeah.
he felt so sorry. But I'm like, anyway, 18, this is an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's one of the best things for me because I've only ever become more ambitious since then. Like, I'm not afraid to do anything. Like, when I'm applying for jobs, I will apply even if it's in where. You know, like I was telling you what I'm like, I think I want to go work. My mind is open. Like, I can go anywhere. I don't have to remain, here or in a box. And I'm glad that you allowed me to do that. I also wanted to talk about something fun that I think that us guys have done together. Like, since I'm saying like you're really my friend, I literally took you out one night with us. I think it was on your birthday. I took my mom to the club.
Yeah. I mean, we used to club together.
We used to club together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's what I liked about it is because you were like, I want to see what you guys are doing. Let me
Yeah.
see what you guys are
Yeah.
doing. And you could see like we're good. We're taking care of ourselves, We're not drinking cheap liquor, even though I don't drink anymore, thank God. But yeah, there's no cheap liquor. We're not over drinking. But yeah, how was that for you?
I think I allowed myself to be in your shoes because
Yeah.
we've grown up together.
Yeah.
We used to do things together.
Yeah.
So why not go and see what you guys do? I mean, your kind of generation, things are crazy. It's not like the way us guys used to party.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
different. But I said yes. And
Yeah.
you did. Yeah.
We took you out. It was a good time. It was your birthday. They were giving you shout outs everywhere. You always been a celebrity ever since.
You know?
So I think it's just been easy for me to have you as a friend, because also as a friend, I don't want to disappoint you.
Yeah.
So that's how I've seen it.
Like I said, I think of my relationship with you being friends started from a very young age, and I think that's how we've managed to grow ourselves.
Yeah.
And become the kind of mother, daughter who are open, because you can tell me anything. If
Yeah.
it's not relationships,
Yeah.
when you had your first Muzungu boyfriend,
Yeah.
so
It was that was so funny. I remember
and I remember I even posted it on my Facebook, like when your daughter introduces you to her boyfriend, and I'm like, oh my God. But I guess that's there's a generation like the one you're in now,
Yeah.
where just some things are unavoidable.
Yeah.
You just,
and I also went to school. It was a purely white school. Most of my schools I've been in, there've been a lot of white people, So it was like it's who I've grown up with.
Yeah.
It's different. Another time that is so funny to me is I remember I had a crush on this guy. I think I was like 15 years old, right? So I decided to go on. He said, let's go for a walk because he lives in the same, like around the same estate. I don't know if you remember who it was, but I'll tell you after. So we went on this walk, and then I came back and I was so happy, but then he never texted me again, right? I was heartbroken. Then I remember I was in your room and then you came. Then I told you, oh my God, Mom, this boy, la la la, he's not messaged me back. And then you said, you're crying about boys. Hey, you're going to cry. And I was looking at you like, what? You're like, hey, if it's about boys, you're going to cry, my daughter. And you've not lied because
I mean, it's the reality of things. And I think, you see, that's what I'm saying. I'm very happy that we formed that kind of relationship, because you see, if you are another person, you'd have just gone to your room.
Yeah.
You're crying every time.
Yeah.
You're in a mood.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Kumbe, it is a boy.
Yes, just a boy.
A boy.
Yeah.
Please.
It
come
was
on.
so funny to me the way you said you're going to cry a lot, my friend, because it's true. If you put too much feelings into when it comes to that.
And you're 15.
And I was 15.
I mean, so I wanted you to see things.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. And the reality of things.
Yeah.
That this is just a crush.
Yeah.
And a crush is just a crush.
It's just a crush. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
To be honest, that was the best response I could have gotten, because if you had been like, oh, it's okay, don't worry. Which
No,
is not
you know
true.
me, I don't sugarcoat.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
not
tell you
true.
as it is. So
Yeah.
I will just tell you.
Yeah.
You will cry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've cried.
I have cried, but I stopped crying a long time ago.
Okay.
They're not really worth the tears as much. But I think maybe just to end, you know how we like to talk about something. Um, maybe I can give you a scenario from Reddit, and then you'll tell me what you think. So this girl goes, my mother was every type of abusive towards me, and it ramped up in my adult years. She saw me as a vessel to meet her needs, taking her errand running, being an emotional garbage can for her endless venting. I could go on and on. She didn't love me for me. She loved me for what I could do for her. And if I didn't do exactly as she expected, she became verbally and sometimes physically abusive towards me and would threaten me. I didn't continue my relationship with her out of love, more so out of obligation as I'm an only child, and I fear. I was so afraid of what she'd do to me if I didn't comply with her demands. She had threatened to have my children taken away, threatened to hurt herself, and so on and so on. Anyways, one day, about 7 years ago, she threatened me with elder abuse because I couldn't take her to the shop at 9 p.m. for a phone charger. Something in that moment was just done, and I knew it was forever. I blocked her number. I have not spoken to her for several years. It was the best decision I have ever made. We exchange a happy birthday and a Merry Christmas text now, but that is it. So these are people who have, what do they call it? It's called no contact with their parents. What do you think?
It can happen.
Yeah.
It has happened.
My mom has got no contact with me.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, and I would say you were 100%, even not if not 1,000% right for going no contact with me because
Yeah.
I was wilding. But for you to come to that decision, isn't it a bit heavy?
It is heavy. I mean, you know, you're my child. There's no way I can block you out of my life forever because it's not possible.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just want to give yourself space.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
it's all, for me, during that period, it was draining me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am the kind of person who puts themselves first.
You've always said that. Yeah.
You're my child.
Yeah.
I gave birth to you.
Yeah.
But I come first.
Yeah.
If I feel you're draining
Yeah. Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I will put you aside for a while.
Yeah.
For my own good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Sometimes it gives the other person time and space to also evaluate themselves. Why would my mother, who has given birth to me, want no contact with me? You've hurt them. Most of the times it's because of the things you've done, you've hurt them. So it's probably just a way of making you realize you need to go back and think about your actions. So it's not done in bad faith. Obviously, yes, I will think about you, but I just don't want to have anything to do with you for now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's something that applies.
So yeah, to anybody. So when it's like a child going no contact with their parents, that is obviously because this maybe it's too toxic.
That's what I'm saying. You see, for this kind of for this person,
Yeah.
she felt her mother was toxic.
Yeah.
So why am I giving her the space to ruin
My life.
my life?
Yeah.
If I'm good not having contact with her, then
Yeah. Because there's some people who say no matter what your parents do, you should always allow them, you know, in your life. What. No matter what your children do, you should always, you know. What do you think about that?
no. I think that narrative is misused.
Yeah.
I am a human being.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I am your parent. I deserve respect. It's two-way. If I feel you're draining me, I tell you, you don't change, then I have a choice.
Yeah.
Because how old are you again? What is the legal age of a human being?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah.
Depending on the situation. I mean, it depends. because if today you asked me, like the way you said, you've rightly said, you deserved it.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
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 Because it's like, okay, now I have to think, what am I doing, with my life right now? What am I doing? Then you have to reevaluate, or how am I being unfair to this person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think it's something good that you taught me, that you don't have to stay when it doesn't matter who disrespects you. You are allowed to block them.
Yes.
And you are the queen of blocking.
Oh. Queen, yeah.
You'll block.
Oh, yeah.
If you which is to the people out there who also think that they can come right on your wall, whatever. Blocked. And then they wonder why they're blocked.
Because I'm thinking, I don't need you in my space.
Yeah.
I don't, and now that you say that, I get a lot of people asking me, why do you maybe exchange words with people? And I'm like, if you come to my space, you respect my space, because I will not come to your space and insult
Disrespect you. Yeah.
No. So we have, it's two-way.
Yeah.
So don't expect to come into my space and disrespect me and I keep quiet.
Yeah.
I have two things. Either I block you, I tell you off.
Yeah. And I really don't understand when people are like, oh, her comebacks are bad. I'm like, you don't get to dictate how someone responds to your abuse. Are you crazy? Like, are you normal? It's like me, I just go and I abuse someone on the street, and then if they slap me, I'm like, oh. Why? You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah.
And another lady who I told her, like, she's like, oh, you blocked her. She was talking about how you blocked her. And I'm like, so now you're sad that you have been removed from ever abusing her again. Like that is what you're pissed off at, really. It didn't make sense to me, but that's just a whole other world,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'm just grateful for the fact that we can be friends, and we can also be, I mean, you're still my mom. I think you'll always be my mom.
Yeah, and it's a journey that we all must walk through, and it depends on how you walk through it.
Yeah.
So people are different. Relationships with mothers and daughters are different.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to be a friend.
Yeah.
And also
start off as a friend, and then because a lot of people think it's authoritative and then friendship.
No.
It's better to be friends. I've never thought about that, and I like that. Maybe I'll do the same if I'm one day blessed with a daughter. But another
You'll
thing
learn
that
from
I've seen is that the same way you treated your parents, or the same things you put your parents through, is the same things that maybe I put you through. The cycle continues.
Only that ours were not as heavy as yours.
Yeah. So even me now, what am I going to expect with my daughter? God.
There you go.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this conversation. This was a good one for me.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you
It was. I mean, as parents, as mothers, sometimes we are afraid to talk about things. And I'm glad we have this forum where we can be able to share our experiences and also get feedback from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, these are normal things that happen.
Yeah.
It's not that what is happening to you is abnormal.
Yeah.
It's very normal. Yeah. So
It
just
is.
talk about it.
It feels good also to know I found like my little tribe out there who were kind of going through the same things. And I think you also help a lot of mothers also, who are going through something with their daughters. So I just want to keep this space the way it is. The conversation is easy, it's flowing. We're opening up more.
Yeah.
And there's so much more. Like, I'm telling you, we have not even scratched the surface.
No.
But it's good. Slowly by slowly, we can't just dive in,
Yeah.
Kabisa. But we'll be able to talk about it more. But yeah, this has been a good one for me. Just want to say to everybody watching, thank you so much for your feedback. Also, make sure to comment your feedback for this episode. Let me know how you guys have a relationship with your mother. Is it friendship based? Is it more authoritative? I would like to know as well. And then we'll talk in the comment section. But yeah, until next time, thank you. Bye, Mom. You want to say anything?
Keep supporting Gilda. I mean, I think this is a very good forum for young girls especially. And I'm so happy that you're doing this.
Yeah.
I'm here to support you as your mother forever.
Thank
You
you.
know? Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
And also one more thing I saw a lot of guys asking was, will Esther come back? Will Esther listen, Esther is my co-host. She's not going anywhere. This show is mine and hers. So a lot of
Yeah.
people wanted to know, will you come back? I think
Of
because it
course.
says featuring.
Yeah,
This
of
is
course.
our thing.
Yeah.
So you'll always be here, which is amazing.
I'm glad you have me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Time.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Please take care of yourselves. All right, remember to like, subscribe, and share.